Hey guys! Today I'm gonna show you how to make this four-legged nonsense which you see before you right now, aka a cursed whale shark. By the way, this is my assistant Patootie. Say hi. This isn't a project for complete beginners unless you are a complete beginner who wants to torture themselves, which I admire your bravery. You shall proceed. To complete this atrocious project you'll need to know stitches such as the ladder stitch, whip stitch and baseball stitch. You can Google and learn the stitches by yourself, or you can learn on the go by watching this video in horror and trying to understand what the f am I doing. And this will approximately be the size of a finished project. Of course, it also depends on what kind of fabric you use. Alrighty, let's go! The materials. First, you'll need fabric. I recommend using at least 3 colors, but that's not a must. I usually use minky fabric. Then, stuffing. I use normal toy stuffing from Amazon. Then thread. I recommend using 3 colors, but you don't have to. Pins and needles, of course, the holy stuff. And then I use glass cabochons for the eyes, but you don't have to at all. There are a lot of alternatives. Glue, to glue the cabochons. Paint, to paint the cabochons. One of them is shiny! Right, I recommend using acrylic paints. And last but absolutely not least, scissors. And these are the ingredients. Now let's go take a look at the instructions.
Father help!
First, you go to the link in my account description to my online shop, download the free pattern and cut it out. Ta-da! Then get the main color, the one that you're gonna be using for the body, the fins, the legs, or you can use different colors actually, and start tracing the pattern onto the fabric. If you want to make a basic cursed whale shark, then the body, all of the fins and the legs are the same color. And don't you dare forget about seam allowance, otherwise your stitches will shrink the plushie to a dust particle. I don't need a big seam allowance because I hand sew the whole thing, so I just leave some space when I cut the fabric. If you're confused, you'll see. And if you're gonna be attempting to machine sew this, please 1. Leave a bigger seam allowance, 2. Seek help from a psychiatrist, and 3. Send pics. And if you're working with fluffy fabric, please double check the direction of the fluff, because it determines if a plushie is going to look cursed or cursed. And this is what we got. Now, because I'm hand sewing this and my stitches are small, I don't need a big seam allowance, so I'm just leaving a little bit of space when I cut. By the way, I only now realize that these are thread cutters, not fancy scissors, and you're not supposed to cut fabric with them, but I don't care. These are very nice to use. I am almost 100% sure I forgot to say something that I wanted to say, because I don't take notes, and I just freehand the whole thing. I don't have a script either. Also, while I'm editing this, I realized how in the flying falukorv did I forget to mention that you have to cut out the belly too. Okay, wait, no, hi again. I remembered what I was gonna say. If in the future you notice that your shark looks a little different from the one on screen, it's because I changed the pattern a little bit after I filmed, so don't worry. Now is the best and the most tedious part. Start by taking the 2 sides and slapping them against each other, bad side of the fabric out and the fluff in. Then thread your needle, tie a knot, and begin sewing with whip stitch, or blanket stitch, or back stitch, or on the sewing machine, whatever you prefer. Sew about until this point. The arrow and circle look like a stick man without legs and I can't unsee it. Now we'll be giving this creature a belly.
Because why not?
Part the sides, align the sharp end of the belly with the end of the body, and sew along the belly and the body all the way to the end. Then respawn your needle at the end of the body again to sew the other side of the belly. This is approximately what the body should look like. Now, I don't know about you, but before turning anything right side out, I like to have everything sewn. So it'll look kinda aesthetically pleasing to have everything laid out and ready on the table in front of me. So now I'm gonna show you how to sew the fins and the paws, but just skip ahead if you want to sew them out right now. So basically, as you've just seen on the screen, you just sandwich the two parts of the fin together and sew with a whip stitch until you get to the end. And you just do this with all of the other fins. It's really not that hard. And these are all the fins sewn together. Now the paws. You can make as many as you like. For this shark, I'm gonna make 6. I usually make 4, but you can make like 8 or 10 or 12. I'd love to see a 12-legged cursed whale shark. So you basically sandwich the two pieces together and sew with a whip stitch until the place where the first paw pad or finger meets the other one, if that makes sense. Then stab your needle into the place where you want your paw pad separation to end and pull through. Then from the other side, go up again and stab your needle within the seam allowance into your next paw pad. I'm horrible at explaining, just look at the screen, please. Then continue sewing as normal until you get to the next separation. Then repeat the process, and so on. When you finish with the fingers, just sew with a whip stitch until the end. And there you have it, a paw. So you do want your Shrek to have paw pads. Cut out 1 small oval and 4 small circles. Quick side note, I will show 2 methods of sewing on the paw pads. One is attaching before you sew the paw itself, so sewing the pads onto one of the pieces and then sewing the 2 pieces together. And the other one is first sewing the paw itself, stuffing it, and then sewing on the paw pads. So choose which one of the 2 torture methods you like. And proceed. Torture method number 1, sewing the pads before sewing the paw itself. You basically just flip the paw good side of the fabric up and lay the oval on it good side of the fabric up too. Then start sewing in a weird like half whip stitch. I'm not even gonna try to explain, just look at the screen. And while you are, it's time for a random shark fact, because I love them. Great white sharks don't usually eat humans, despite what you might believe. We are too fleshy for them. They need a lot of energy, so they prefer creatures consisting more of fat, like seals. So if they do bite humans, it's to test out what we consist of. Once they understand that we consist of mostly muscles, they let us go. That's basically it. And you just repeat that with the smallest hex circles and you're good. Torture method number 2. For this, your paw has to be fully sewn, turned right side out, and stuffed. You just basically lay the oval good side of the fabric up and also begin sewing with the half whip stitch. I really don't know how to explain this thing. Maybe getting into this tutorial you actually thought I knew what I was doing?
Nope.
Shark fun fact. Treasure sharks look traumatized and they slap the water with their tails to stun their prey. They are also way bigger than you think. Let's proceed. So now we have everything sewn and laid out on the table in front of us. Very satisfying. Now we just simply need to turn everything right side up. It may not be the best idea, but to turn small things right side out, I use scissors. But you can use chopsticks or this medical tool I forgot the name of, because you can rip your seams with scissors, and that has actually happened to me numerous times. So for that, 4.9 out of 5 stars. I still love my scissors. Then stuff the fins and the legs. Try to not overstuff it. Now,
The hardest part.
for me at least.
The mouth.
Yum yum. Stuff the body like 2/3 of the way, and be prepared to take out or add more stuffing as you go. I'm also adding a squeaker to my shark because why the heck not? Imagine a buff 6-legged shark on steroids running up to and cutely squeaking. I digress. Now take the color of the fabric that you want your mouth to be. It doesn't have to be pink. There are no laws saying how you should make your cursed whale sharks. Yet. Now measure how wide approximately you want your mouth to be with your fingers, or with a ruler if you want, and transfer that length onto the fabric. You don't have to be super accurate, we aren't doing maths here or anything. Now the length of the mouth. How far or deep into the plushie will it go? I usually make the mouth half of my fingers long, but it's up to you. Then connect all the dots or marks you made in like a half circle shape. And I always make the mouth just a little bit bigger than I originally planned on, because it shrinks quite a bit. But that's also up to you. I'm not forcing you to do anything. Cut out 2 of these half circles, and not forgetting about seam allowance. Then flop them together, good side of the fabric in, bad side of the fabric out. Sew the 2 mouth pieces together like this, with a whip stitch. Very good, comrade. You're doing a great job. Now we violently jam the mouth into the body. Violence is always the answer. At this point, you may either need to add or remove the stuffing in the body. If you run out of thread, respawn your needle in the corner of the mouth and start sewing with a baseball stick. I usually make the mouth kinda too small, accidentally, then have a oh f*** not again moment, and then I suffer. Once you've made your way to the other corner of the mouth, start stuffing the upper lip. It feels so weird to say lip when you talk about a shark. Anyways, now I want my shark to have a snazzy mouth, so I just jam some small bits of stuffing under the upper lip, and while I'm at it, I also add some more stuffing to the body.
Because why not?
Now, a quick side note, your shark will look like you injected Botox into it, and it's completely normal. Now we just do the same with the lower lip. Sewing with the baseball stitch and stuffing. Let's help the poor shark, shall we? Poke a needle into the mouth itself, like shown in the video. Then step away a little bit to catch a little fabric and poke a needle through the mouth to the body. It should pull the fabric of the mouth and the stuffing towards the body and giving it less of this shape and more of that shape. Then the same thing again. From where you are at the body right now, step away a teeny tiny bit and poke your needle through the body to the mouth, but to a different place on the mouth. Make sure to do one lip at a time, so don't spontaneously switch lips. Continue doing this until you're satisfied with the result. Spontaneous shark fact time! The great white isn't actually considered to be the most dangerous shark. The oceanic white-tip shark is, but these guys' population has decreased by a whopping 98% in 60 years, approximately. So these goobers really do need our... The main reasons for this are industrial fishing, bycatch, and shark finning. So when you buy fish, you never know how many sharks were caught as bycatch and harmed or killed. I'm gonna go punch a wall. Also, don't worry, the marks you leave on the fabric will be covered up by the spots or the fins. When you're finished with the upper lip, do practically the same thing with the lower lip. But remember, there will be no spots or fins to cover up the thread on the belly, but there will be paws. So when I poke the needle out into the body, I do it to a place where I know a paw will be covering it up, if that makes sense. So now, after years of struggles and mental breakdowns, We got ourselves a snazzy looking mouth and a snazzy looking cursed whale shark. But hold on, because we're not done yet! So spawn your needle in the deepest end of the mouth. Then step away a little bit as usual and then poke the needle far away into the back of the shark. It should pull the mouth like deeper into the body and like really pull everything together and finish it off. Good job, comrade. Also, don't panic, your whale shark will most likely look like this. Shall we fix it? Gather all of your limbs. Or someone else's. I usually sew on the fins first, but you do whatever you want. I just pin them down where I see fit and sew around them with a ladder stitch. Sometimes I go around a few times, so I wouldn't be insecure about them falling off, but not always. Otherwise I would go insane. But I guess I actually should give instructions on where to sew each fin, right? I guess. Yeah, I probably should. So the biggest triangle fin goes on the back like this. Out of the 3 small triangle fins, the most pointy one and the smallest one goes onto the back behind the biggest triangle fin. The biggest round fin goes on the butt, and the smaller round fin goes under it, also on the butt. The other 2 fins go on the sides like this. Also a pic of Patooty's fins, just in case, for reference. Now the leg. Grab your leg and slap it on wherever you want to. Just make sure some of the paws cover up the messy thread thingies that we had from the mouth. Sew around it with a ladder stitch. Once that is complete, you first poke your needle into the seam, like on the video, and then poke your needle through the paw to the upper corner, also into the seam. Make a blanket stitch to secure the thread. Then you see this place where the biggest paw pad like ends, and there's like this little corner between the paw pad and the leg itself. Bend the paw approximately 90 degrees at that line and secure this position by going first into the leg and then into the bent paw with a ladder stitch and tugging on the thread hard so it stays secure, but make sure not to rip the thread, otherwise you'll be very sad. Another shark fun fact: every whale shark has a unique pattern of spots, and you can actually identify different individuals by looking at just a piece of it. Once you've reached the end, you have 3 options. Well, no, actually 4 options. Option number 1. Go over the seam you just made one more time. Option number 2. While you're there, you can also go over the paw pad separation one more time to make it more clear and so it stands out more. Option number 3. Tie a sneaky knot, cut your thread, and go into sewing the other paws. Option number 4. I don't really recommend this option, but you can do it. If you have enough thread left, you can lead the needle and thread back down, then not cutting the thread, poke your needle to the place where the next paw would be, secure the thread with a blanket stitch, and continue with the paws. As you see, I have made 6 paws and have also added some antennae just for funsies. But now, it is time to cover up our sins, aka we will be adding on the spots. I'll be going a little more alien space theme here, so I'll be adding stars instead of spots. But you just do the same thing, but with ovals, if you want normal spots. You can also add hearts, skulls, moons, suns, anything. Mini cursed whale sharks as spots. But basically, you just draw the shape that you want on your fabric of choice, leaving a little teeny tiny seam allowance, cutting the shapes out, pinning them to where you want them to be, tying a knot, and attaching them with the half whip stitch, as you see on screen. It's really not that hard. Shark fact time again. Sharks don't have bones. Surprise! Their skeleton consists of cartilage, so they would float instead of sinking. Some also have a big fat oily liver that helps them stay afloat too. Sharks are also older than trees and have survived 4 mass extinctions, only to be fished and finned to near extinction or extinction by humans. The only thing left are the eyes! Thank goodness. I'm getting tired of editing this. The thing I'm doing now is going with a pen or a needle under the seam and picking out the fluff that got stuck in the stitches. Refluffing, I think someone called it. So basically we're making the plushy fluffy again. And I just quickly refluff the whole plushie. Then I painted some, I think it was 12 or 14mm cabochons, first with a layer of glitter paint, and then when that dried I applied some dark brown paint on top of it to make that snazzy glitter really stand out. And then I just put some glue on the cabochons when everything dried and smacked them on. That's it, now you have your own cursed whale shark. Congrats bro, you survived. I'm proud of you. Now, if you want to participate in a giveaway, listen up. For the record, it's September 2025 now. So if you've just completed your cursed whale shark following this tutorial, then you can just photograph the shark and either post it on social media like Instagram or TikTok and tag me, or you can send the photo through my Ko-fi website or email it to me, and once I get the photo, you're automatically in the giveaway. Congrats! Winners will be randomly selected October 31st.
Good luck, have fun, don't die!
Also please, I don't want to see any comments like this, whether it's meant as a joke or not. This is just a shark with an open mouth. Doesn't mean you have to do things to it. Thank you. Well then, I think that'll be it. I tried to make it as short but as detailed and clear as possible. I hope you have a torturous or no a fun time making your cursed whale shark or sharks, your cursed army. Don't forget to tag me if you post your little friend on social media because I want to see them all. And don't be shy, send your photos, I want to see them all too. Bye!